I'm Chris, you're watching FRAG-MENTAL. Thank you for joining me. If you've clicked on this video because you're thinking of starting your own YouTube channel, or if you're just interested in how I got started on YouTube, I'm going to give you all that good info in this video. Stay tuned. If you're passionate about something in particular, or you're just passionate about creating content, YouTube is a fun, exciting and really rewarding platform to work on. I started this channel around 2.5 years ago and I'm currently around 30,000 subscribers. That's pretty small compared to a lot of other channels, but I never thought I would get to this many subscribers when I started out. So I'm really thrilled with how this channel has grown. I feel like I've learned a lot along the way, so I wanted to share some of my experiences with you. I remember watching videos like this when I was researching how to start my channel, so hopefully this one will be useful to you. Over the last couple of years since I've been creating content on YouTube, I've heard a lot of people say they'd love to start a channel, they're thinking of doing it, but they're just not quite sure how. Well, the best advice I could give to anyone is start the easy way, and that's with one of these. Smartphones these days are incredibly powerful tools. They're probably more powerful than most of us actually really need for our day-to-day tasks. But you can shoot on this, you can edit, you can live stream. You've essentially got an entire YouTube content creation studio contained within this marvelous little gizmo. So, have you got a smartphone? Of course you have. Let's talk about how you can get started on your channel. Okay, so you've got your smartphone, now you just need to decide what it is you want to talk about. Do you have a hobby that you want to make the subject of your YouTube channel, or do you have an interesting job that you might want to vlog about, or an interesting lifestyle that people would be interested in, or are you the interest that would people be interested in you as a personality? So just decide what your angle is, decide what your content is going to be about. In my experience, I think it's easier to grow quicker if you pick a niche, and the smaller the niche the better. And don't worry about it being too small or too obscure, because there are millions of people in this world and there will be thousands of people wanting to devour that content. If your niche is too wide, then you're going to be competing with bigger channels that have thousands of subscribers, millions of subscribers, so it's going to be more difficult to stand out. For example, if you're thinking of starting a channel on photography or videography, just bear in mind that YouTube is saturated with channels that offer this kind of content, some of them with millions of subscribers, so it might be difficult to gain traction and stand out. You may already be a professional level videographer. If that's the case, then you may have a chance to stand out in such a big arena and gain some traction with your channel. So if you have that skill set, great. The reality of it is most of us don't, so we might have to think about being a little more specific with our content. If you can, pick something that you're interested in, something that you're passionate about, because if you're not enjoying creating the content, you're gonna lose motivation quite quickly. So a lot of people choose a hobby, something that they already have some existing knowledge on. When I was looking at starting a YouTube channel, my first thought was, I love mountain biking, so why not start a mountain bike channel? For my lifestyle, for my situation, it just wasn't practical to go out on my bike several times a week and make videos and travel around the country or even travel around the world. So I chose the niche of fragrances, but I didn't just choose fragrances in general. I started off talking about a particular fragrance brand that I was really interested in at the time, and a few other people out there on the internet were also interested in this company. So that gained me some loyal subscribers really early on, and when my channel gained subscribers and gained some traction, that's when I started branching out and talking about fragrances in a wider field. So if you're interested in photography or videography, maybe pick a smaller niche within that big niche. So for example, initially on your channel you may start talking about how you can create videos just with a smartphone or create photos just with a smartphone. So pick a smaller niche within that niche, gain some loyal subscribers, and then you can branch out and those subscribers will stay with you and you'll get more subscribers and your channel will just have this lovely organic growth. So pick something you're into, something that is realistic and sustainable. For example, if you're into fishing and you're only going fishing once every 2 weeks or once a month, you're not really going to be shooting a lot of content. If you're into mountain biking and you're riding 3-4 times a week, then you're going to be shooting a lot of content. Which brings me on to the next section, how do we shoot that content? As I mentioned, a smartphone is a great option. If you have a DSLR camera, great, use that. If not, a smartphone is going to get you up and running. The first few videos on my channel 2.5 years ago, you can go back and have a look at those, they're still there. I was just filming on my phone using my front-facing camera, my onboard camera microphone, and it got my channel launched, it got me going. If you're filming a static shot where you're talking to the camera like I am now, make sure you've got a stable surface. It doesn't even need to be a tripod, it can be anything that will allow your smartphone to be stable. And try and film by a window so that the natural light from outdoors is coming in and illuminating you so your viewers can see you clearly. That is really important. So I got going with my smartphone, but quite early on I started to make a few affordable upgrades. Sound and lighting upgrades are optional, but I decided to go for them quite early on because I just wanted to dial up my production values, as I felt that's what would help me stand out within my niche. Two of the best investments I ever made on this channel, and I'm still using them today, are my lav mic here and my two softbox lights. I got both of them from Amazon, so I'll leave the links in the description. This lav mic, this particular one, is from Rode, and it's been the single best purchase I ever made. The sound on this thing is awesome, both indoors and out, unless it's blowing a gale out there. Having said that, I've used this in windy conditions and it's worked really well for me. And I just think having good sound is a very simple and affordable way to really start to raise your production level. Let's talk about lighting. So it's great to film in front of a window and get that beautiful natural light. When the lighting is good, when you've got good lighting conditions outside, natural light always looks the best. The problem is, and I found this out quite early on, when I had the opportunity to film, the weather wasn't always doing what I wanted it to do. So if you've got lovely light cloud cover that's consistent during the time of filming, then your image will look consistent. But often I was filming on days when the sun would come out and I would become overexposed, and I just think that's a little bit off-putting for your viewers. So I now film in a blacked out room with my two softbox lights, which initially seemed like they were going to be too bright, but when you look at it back on camera, it looks great, and it just gives you the flexibility to shoot whenever you want and have consistent light. Another great upgrade that I could recommend is buying a tripod. You can pick up tripods for really cheap. It doesn't have to be an expensive tripod as long as it holds your phone or your camera stable. So all in all, if you upgrade to a tripod, to the softbox lights and to a lav mic, it's going to set you back around £100–150, but in my opinion the leap in production quality that you get is well worth it. Camera versus smartphone. As I said, a smartphone is going to be more than good enough to get the job done for you, especially if your sound and lighting are good. What I found quite quickly though was my phone would run out of storage, and it was really frustrating when I was in the middle of shooting a video and then I had to start deleting files off my phone. You just lose the flow, you lose the rhythm. So I upgraded to a camera. I think this was maybe about a month into my channel. I upgraded to a Canon DSLR, which is the 750D. That cost me around £650 at the time, but I've just checked on Amazon today and it's retailing on there for £500. I think that's a great deal. It's kind of a starter DSLR camera, but for me, well worth the investment, because not only do I use it for my YouTube videos, I also use it for stills photography. So I have an Instagram account that is linked to my YouTube account, so I use it for the stills on there. So I'm using this camera every day. I've more than had my money's worth. Also, I wanted the ability to have a different lens on the camera, so I've got a 50mm lens attached to this camera, which allows me to have a little bit of a fall off in the focus in the background, which again, to me, just elevates my production values a little bit. Okay, so you've shot your content, now you need to edit it. I edit on a desktop Mac, but I just use iMovie, which has its limitations, but it does the job for the kind of content that I create. If you don't have a desktop PC or Mac, hey, guess what? you can use your smartphone. An app that I use sometimes to edit on is KineMaster. So KineMaster is actually a very powerful smartphone editing tool. In a lot of ways, it's more powerful and more capable than iMovie. So sometimes when I want different transitions or effects that iMovie doesn't have, if I want a little more flexibility in the edit, I will edit on KineMaster and then export that back into iMovie to include in my full video. And often I will use KineMaster if I need to edit and I don't have access to my desktop. You don't have to pay for KineMaster, it's actually a free tool to use, but when you export your video, you will have a watermark up on the screen here that says made with KineMaster. If you can live with that, that's great. I opted to pay a yearly fee to have use of KineMaster, so I don't have to have the watermark. It costs me $38.99 one-off payment for the year. Well worth it in my opinion. And also you get access to the premier assets, so sound effects, transitions, effects, things like that. So KineMaster is a very powerful editing tool for your smartphone. Big thumbs up from me. One last thing to talk about before we leave editing is, should you use music in your videos? As you can quite clearly hear, I use music in my videos. I always have a bed of music underneath me talking. I feel that it fits with my style, fits with my content, and I think that it engages my viewers, so they're more likely to watch my videos for longer, which is of course what we're aiming for on YouTube. But it's entirely up to you. See what works with your style and with your content. So using this, you've set up your YouTube channel, you've shot your content, you've edited it, uploaded it, all using your smartphone, which most of us already own. A lot of us are at home more these days, so maybe now is the time to hop onto YouTube and create content and get a piece of the action. Setting up my YouTube channel was one of the best things I ever did. It's literally changed my life. So that wraps it up for this video. I am thinking of creating a companion video to this, which would be called How to Grow Your YouTube Channel. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. If you've got any questions that I haven't answered here, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below and ask me your question. I will do my best to get back to you. Like and subscribe if you want more of this. And if you're about to start your channel, I wish you the very best of luck. I'll see you on YouTube.